Every day, YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers spread stupid opinions unchecked by their lemming fans, and for that reason, the opinion officer was born. The date was December 23rd, 2019. A YouTube channel known as 24 Frames of Nick uploaded a video called Frozen 2 is Terrible, Stop Lying. At the time of this recording, 24 Frames of Nick has over 550,000 subscribers, and the video in question has almost 700,000 views. If you don't know who 24 Frames of Nick is, this is a gentleman who prides himself in not having read as a child until he found the literary masterpiece that is Captain Underpants.
As a kid, I never really read much. I hated books, I was a dummy child.
But today, the opinion officer must strike him down for the many blasphemies contained within the video Frozen 2 is Terrible, Stop Lying. To fully understand the depth of wrongness of this video, we must play through it and break it down bit by painful bit. The work of an officer is grueling at times, but necessary.
Animated movies are an incredible medium. I say this all the time.
Notice the Captain Underpants reference is his reference point for animation being an incredible medium.
I can get this tattooed on my chest. Animated movie sequels are even better. They're the perfect excuse to take an existing story and expand an existing world and flesh it out even more. Existing characters and make them grow even better than they did before. Sequels aren't always just...
He used one of the later terrible entries into Shrek, as well as Cars, as examples of good sequels, if we're to believe the visuals are representing what he is speaking about.
Some random cash grab, they're the perfect way to tell more of a story without spending too long on introductions and setups and finding out who this dude is. You don't need to do that in a sequel. But sadly, we live in a world of the greedy, the money hungry, the lazy. They did this for my boys in Cars, my fam.
And now he's using Cars as an example of something bad, so visually the clips he is putting together are lazy. They're also very distorted. I don't know how he is uploading or rendering these clips, but they're potato-y pixels. The production quality for a channel with over 500,000 subscribers is devastatingly poor. Not that that's an offense against his opinion, but it's just annoying.
And The Incredibles, but for movies like Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Toy Story, they furthered the stories and world and gave them even more emotion to the characters.
Accurate.
But, yo, Frozen? Nah, sorry guys. Let it go? More like, let me sleep. This movie is as boring
Terrible joke. Terrible opinion.
as watching ice freeze. I'll be the first one to admit it that
You can't watch ice freeze, it's already frozen, you stupid piece of shit.
I really bump to the original Frozen. I have
This man unironically said he bumps to Frozen.
so much fun with it. I find Olaf adorable, I find the songs fun and heartwarming. While it's weak in plot, I mean, at least it has one though.
So this gentleman just said that Frozen 1 is weak in plot, which is true, and then he says at least it has one, while putting up a photo of Frozen 2, which actually has a very intricate plot, which is going to be the baseline for most of what is wrong with this review, because this poor soul simply didn't understand the plot to a children's film.
The movie from the first watch was a fun Disney-centric tale. It had wonder and
It was actually not Disney-centric. It was deliberately counter-Disney-centric, so apparently he missed the point of Frozen 1 as well.
genuine feelings of magic and adventure at times. I bumped Love as an Open Door
He just used bump unironically a second time.
daily. I screamed that tune at my girlfriend's face every day.
I feel sorry for this man's girlfriend for reasons beyond that.
But all of these feelings, this wonder and excitement, this cheesiness.
He used wonder and excitement while showing the trolls. At least he followed it up with cheesiness because they are cheesy.
And hilariosity. It's all
Hilariosity is not a good way to describe the trolls.
lost in Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is too cold. Frozen 2 is too late. Frozen 2 is too hot.
These two puns are terrible.
Too frozen, too hot. It's a boring, cold movie is what I'm trying to say. It angers me. I wanted this to be fun, cute, adorable. I wanted a new...
So apparently he wanted a fun, cute, adorable film. Once he got a film with substance, he was upset by this.
Tale that slapped in this world.
He used the word slapped, unironically.
I'm being honest, like, I seriously
I know you're being honest. You're being honestly stupid, but honest.
wanted a good Frozen movie. I wanted this to be an adorable story, but I found absolutely...
Again, just because you wanted something to be adorable and found actual plot structure does not mean it's bad. And this is why your opinion is bad, and you should feel bad.
None of that walking into the theater. I am a Disney shill. I live in Disney World. I eat, breathe, sleep this fat loser mouse. I rub his tail for good luck and pray to his creator.
I can appreciate everything about that Disney shill monologue. It was actually quite entertaining.
Disney is my lifeblood. I saw this movie in a Disney movie theater, and I could say, this movie sucks. And
Let's see why it sucks.
all of you need to stop lying to yourselves. Frozen 2 is like Aladdin 2, except a massive budget on the big screen.
Return of Jafar actually wasn't horrifyingly bad. It was just bad.
It's a pointless, forgettable sequel with zero plot, and it honestly
I still love that he keeps saying zero plot. Just because you didn't understand the plot doesn't mean it's not there, simple brain.
breaks my heart. It wouldn't be nitpicking to break down every major and minor plot point in this movie and say literally none of them make any sense.
If you're stupid, they don't.
None of the characters act like they did in the first movie.
Because they've grown over several years. It's called character development.
They barely even talk to each other. It's
I mean, they talk to each other normal amount.
actually kind of insane that this movie is nearly 2 hours long. And it feels like the main characters talked like 7 times at most. I can't remember anything of substantial value being said by anyone, except like a line from the main song, "Into the unknown, into the unknown." I mean, the song slaps.
See, here's when you know that an opinion is in need of an opinion officer. When you are so tilted and biased in your opinion that you make fun of things that you admit are great.
But it's all the movie has.
I mean, no.
First, let me start by listing things I found good in the movie.
Oh, good. Let's hear them out.
They are few and far between, but you know, they exist, and we gotta make that clear. The animation. Oh,
Yes, we all know the animation of Frozen 2 is orgasm for the eyes. Move along.
golly, is the animation pretty.
Golly?
You zoom in on Elsa's dress, and you can see the individual
I like in all of the things to pick out for why this animation's great. You're choosing Elsa's dress.
patterns, and it's so nice. You zoom in on Kristoff's nose, and you can see every pore on that fat nose. Salamander dude. They add a cute little salamander-type Pokemon fire dude, and he's so cute. He's adorable. Kristoff's boy band-esque song where he sings overly dramatic.
Kristoff did not have a boy band-esque song. Kristoff's song, which is one of the best things to happen in a Disney movie ever, is actually a throwback to 80s hair bands and 80s rock, or late 70s, whichever you want to pick. There's actually several visual cues to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody within it. It is very clearly not a parody of boy bands, but again, this gentleman doesn't know anything that he's talking about. You can have the same opinion as this guy of disliking Frozen 2, and that's fine. But your opinion has to be based in reality for the opinion officers not to come knocking at your door.
Dramatic and hilarious. It's funny. It's fun. And that's it. That's all I like about the movie. And even those very things come with issues. First off, let's talk about the teaser trailer for Frozen 2. The very first released footage of this movie.
I don't know why the teaser trailer is relevant, because all you're going to be able to say about the teaser trailer is it gave me these expectations, but this is what actually happened, which has no relevancy to how good the movie is or not. It only relates to you didn't get what you wanted from the movie, which has nothing to do with the value of the movie. You dingus.
That little teaser where we see Elsa like fighting the ocean is like this really powerful, emotional teaser. Everyone was like, ooh, yo, the water's gorgeous. Where's Elsa? Why is she there? Yo, what's happening? Is she okay? What is she fighting? Is she fighting to get stronger? Dude, I'm so intrigued. What's gonna happen? Oh my god. Well, that tiny little teaser is literally just 2 minutes in the movie with zero emotional weight or power behind it.
I think it's longer than 2 minute sequence if I'm not mistaken, but maybe it is 2 minutes, but whatever.
I was like waiting the entire movie for that scene to see what they would do with this scene. Like, it'll show us Elsa overcoming something deep inside her, something she needs to do. But no.
I mean, it is something she needs to do. It's the entire center of the plot of the movie that starts with the first song of the movie. This sequence is essentially Elsa getting to the end of the journey.
It just ended up being insanely normal and anticlimactic.
I don't know that we have the same definition of normal, because this included her fighting a water horse beast, turning it into ice, and riding that to a glacier of frozen memories. I don't know how that's normal.
And anticlimactic is a word that you can use to describe the entirety of this movie.
I don't think this guy knows what anticlimactic means.
There are no stakes, no problems.
So let's think about stakes. Stake number one is Arendelle is the entire population stuck on a cliffside, waiting for certain doom to happen, cowering in fear, trying to keep themselves sane while they're on this adventure to fix it.
We're calling this controlling what you can when things feel out of control.
Other stakes are if, you go too deep into searching for these memories, you die. Other stakes would be the relationship between Anna and Kristoff is being burdened. There's stakes of the people who have been trapped in the enchanted forest with no way out, trying to figure out, what is life going to be if they get out of here? How are they going to live? There are stakes of the elemental spirits are in disarray at everything that's been happening, and if they've been that way for years and years, and now it's coming to its pivotal point of breaking. And we are going to find out that Elsa was the thing that could help the elemental spirits finally harmonize two communities at war with each other. But there's no stakes, guys.
No threats in the...
No threats, because, earth, wind, fire, those sorts of things. Threatening death is not a threat.
The whole movie. Every time someone has an issue, it's solved.
I mean, that's kind of how conflict resolve happens in movies. You have an issue and it gets solved
instantly. Barely any dialogue or struggle. They literally fix every issue like it was nothing.
Again, I don't think that being almost drowned in the ocean and fighting a water horse beast and freezing it and running to, glacier of ice craziness and then dying and having to have Anna rescue you by exploding a huge dam. I don't think any of this happened without effort.
Without spoiling too much, the main plot of Frozen
You could go ahead and spoil shit.
2 is that Elsa gets a call from the forest, but it's a magical forest, but the forest is cursed, and they got...
Yes, Elsa gets called not to the forest. She thinks it's the forest, but she's really being called to Atala, however you say it, the glacier of ice where all the memories are.
They gotta find a way to free the forest, and
they're not trying to free the forest.
Whatever's wrong with it. Along the way, you meet...
What's wrong with it is it's closed in two civilizations at war with each other. It's, kind of an allegory to the Native Americans of the United States and the settlers. And you could also use this as, could be kind of a tale on current situations of as long as mankind's at war with each other, not working together, things like global warming and other crap is always going to be an issue, because if we don't treat each other right, nature won't treat us right either. These are childlike concepts. They're not that complex. But this kid who didn't start reading until Captain Underpants can't even understand that.
Meet a couple new characters, all of who seem insanely interesting. Every new character actually seems fun, and
so now he's saying all the new characters are good, but he wanted more of them.
You want to know more about them individually, yet you never see them again.
You do see them throughout the movie. They're just not, the main characters, because sub-characters and subplots do not drive the story. someone who's reviewing movies should understand you have like your A storyline, your B storyline, your C storylines. These are characters in the B and C storylines, not in the A storyline. So they're not going to get as much screen time because that's good storytelling.
For the entire movie, 2 characters specifically are introduced, given names and purposes, and it just seems like they will be important, but they just aren't.
I mean, they are. He'll get to that later, though.
They just disappear, literally.
Nope.
The entire movie onwards.
Incorrect.
It's like, did they even exist in the first place?
They did, and they continue to. These are just factually inaccurate statements he's making now.
I have no idea. It honestly makes no sense. The movie
It would make no sense. If what you were saying was true, it would make no sense.
starts off really strong with this interesting new story to take place. They give a great reason to be back in this world at first. Everything soon starts to fall apart when it feels like they just didn't bother to care anymore. And
It's at that point that you got lost because the 5th grade level story was too much for your brain to handle. That's when everything went to chaos for you.
writing, they basically give their heart and soul to the first 15 minutes of this movie, and then it seriously feels like the writers just gave up. Like they were like, oh god, I gotta finish this movie? Oh, jeez. I think in order to give a real rhyme or reason to why this movie broke my heart, I need to dive into spoilers.
Oh, it broke his heart.
So if you want to watch this movie blindly for some reason, run away, freeze yourself in time, just get out of here. Okay, so let's get into the dumb stuff. The truly dumb stuff.
Dumber than you? Doubtful.
Olaf, you dumb buffoon! This man dies for just 3 minutes in the most forced, boring way possible.
So he's complaining about Olaf's death being forced and boring. Olaf's death actually lasted for pretty much the last quarter of the movie, and he was only revived at the very end. And it was actually a very well used plot device. It wasn't just like a cheap throwaway tearjerker moment that he's trying to sell it out to be.
All because of Elsa. Elsa's main mission in this movie is to find out what is calling her, and she finds it very easily.
Again, I don't think we have the same term for very easily. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on what constitutes as easy.
Turns out it's just 3 miles away from her country or something. The land makes no sense. No part about frozen land makes any sense.
I'm not really going to look into it enough to know if anything he's saying about this is right, but based on his track record, I'm pretty sure there'd be a good explanation for how the mapping of worlds works on here, and is probably totally fine.
Everything is next to each other. There's no journey or far venturing.
Again, there was a journey to get to the forest in the first part of the movie. There was journey through the forest. There was journey out of the forest. There was journey through the ocean on the crazy ice horse to get to Atala. I mean, the whole movie was one long journey. There's journey for Anna through the river, through the giant earth creatures, into the caves with Olaf, to the dam. I mean, there was a lot going on.
When Elsa needs to go into this cave because she hears a voice, like it's supposed to be a long journey away, it's literally a 3-minute horse ride on top of the
So we went from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. I really need to see how long this sequence is.
water. How small is this world? It's really small.
And how are you saying like 3 literal screen time minutes are exactly how long it took? Like, do you know nothing about films? Who knows how long this took? We don't know how much time has elapsed. I mean, come on.
Okay, so when Elsa gets in this cave, she finds out this world has more powers. There's like spirits and stuff all around.
She doesn't find out at this point that the world has more powers. We already knew about the elemental powers well before this, right? It's just the elements of the earth. But he's about to say the stupidest thing he says in this whole thing, so let's listen. We're one of them.
Around like fire and earth and other Avatar stuff.
How are the elemental properties strictly related to Avatar? Like, do you not understand anything?
And at the center of all of it is snow. Snow is at
So here's his idiocy in full form.
the center of these elements. Snow, a byproduct of water, one of the elements.
So snow is not one of the elements. In fact, what's being shown is Elsa is the link between the elemental world and our world.
You are the 5th spirit. You are the bridge.
Well, actually, a bridge has 2 sides. And Mother had 2 daughters.
That's why they gave her magic. so that she could be that link between these peoples and help to unify them and to be able to go and find the truth of what happened. The troll guys talk about it at the beginning. They say, hey, until a right is wronged, there won't be rest. And Elsa was made as a vessel to right that wrong. She was made as a gift because her mother saved someone who was an enemy, and they saw that gesture of kindness and they said, your offspring will have magic, and that magic will be used to undo this wrong. They say in the song, Show Yourself, that she is what she was looking for. She is the link. She is the answer that she was looking for, not something else. But again, this guy can't understand plot if it bit him in the face.
Snow binds them all together? Snow? Why? What? That's so stupid. Snow is literally the element that binds fire and earth and water. What? Snow is literally water. Snow is just water. So when she finds all of this information out, this whatever information this is,
which is not what you said, but it's information.
She freezes, and this causes Olaf.
She freezes because she wanted to find the truth even at great self-sacrifice. So she wanted the truth of why all of this has happened so that she could free Arendelle from the spell, she could free the forest, and she realized that she would have to dig deep, which is in the song, dig down deep. If you go too deep, you'll be drowned. She was willing to risk that. And she sends one last message to Anna after she does so that Anna can finish it. Anna can bring it. So she was sacrificing herself for everyone else. And she knew she was doing that as she went deeper.
To die, leading for Anna to start singing the most depressing Evanescence song ever.
Evanescence is a bad comparison, but it did have very much Les Mis vibes, but this guy wouldn't know good media at all.
This movie is emo, dude. This movie is depressing, and a lot of people like to say that this is good. This is adult. There are adult themes and emotions in this movie, and no, that's really not it.
It is really it. It's just you don't understand adult themes, clearly, because when you've tried to articulate this plot, it's been offensive. That's why the opinion officers are here to take you in.
It's all insanely forced drama that isn't fun. Who wants to watch?
So he's gone from saying there's no drama to there's forced drama. I don't think he even understands his own opinion.
People be sad for an hour and 30 minutes.
You could watch people be sad for 3 hours in Les Mis, and that's very, very popular. That's going to be one of those, I can see your opinion and it's fine.
Without any sense of wonder and adventure. There's no sense of learning or lessons coming from these air quote adult themes.
I mean, let's talk about learning and lessons. Olaf learns what anger is and how to deal with that. That's a good lesson for children. He also learns that life can be chaotic, and how are you going to interpret the weird things in life. They actually dealt with, the death of Anna and Elsa's parents more head on, and how do you deal with that, and Elsa feeling responsible, the sisterhood bond between Anna and Elsa, and Anna realizing that sometimes her attachment to Elsa is unhealthy and gets in the way of things. You have Kristoff's development of feeling, outed by Anna, but being understanding and still there for her and supportive of her, even though she was shutting him out and they weren't communicating well, because he said his love isn't that weak. He needs to have a love that's strong than, little disagreements or confusions would make us all of a sudden no longer in love. You had Elsa developing by the end to finally get the isolation that she's been wanting, finally find her place, and even the side characters get development in understanding one another and bringing peace between their peoples. And yeah, there's a hell of a lot that they put in here.
It's all surface level dark boringness.
Again, if you're stupid, it's surface level.
It's just really just forced emotions. So in order for Anna to save Elsa and Olaf, I guess, she needs to destroy...
See, Anna's goal wasn't to save Elsa or Olaf. That's a big miss on this guy as well. Anna's goal was to finish what Elsa started, and to get the truth out there and to free the world from these spirits, even if it meant sacrificing her hometown.
Destroy bridge, right? I'm saying bridge because
he thinks damn gets him demonetized. He doesn't understand how monetization works. You can say damn. It's even in YouTube's guidelines that damn and hell and words like that are fine. If you're PG-13, you're going to be monetized. So this guy doesn't even understand YouTube monetization, let alone anything else.
The other world is demonetizable. You learn halfway through this movie that this bridge here, it's an evil bridge. It's a really evil bridge.
It's not evil. It was built in bad faith, and it's also hindering the power power of the spirits in the forest.
The bridge was built in the past by Elsa and Anna's grandpa. It turns out Grandpa was a bad boy and he built a bridge in this forest to mess with people and prank them.
True.
And for some reason, this bridge has been causing all the spirits there to be whack and upset.
Yeah, because the dam was built out of betrayal. And they don't, I mean, I've already explained this, so I'm going to move on.
And there's like spooky fog. And so at the end of the movie, Anna gets these big rock dudes to break the bridge because breaking it will fix everything. She leads them there to break it, but no, there's a soldier guy who's like, wait.
So this is the guy that he said doesn't appear through the rest of the movie, but here he is.
No, don't do that. You can't do this. This is bad. And she's like, but I have to. And he's like, oh, okay. That's...
So I'm just going to play you the actual clip really quick.
Lieutenant Matthias,
Your Highness, what are you doing?
the dam must fall. It's the only way to break the mist and free the forest.
We've sworn to protect Arendelle at all costs.
Arendelle has no future until we make this right. King Runard betrayed everyone.
How do you know that?
My sister gave her life for the truth. Please, before we lose anyone else.
Okay, so now that you've seen the actual video, do I really need to say much else?
That's literally what happens.
It's literally not what happens.
He puts up a fight for 3 seconds.
He is loyal to Arendelle, and Anna is now Arendelle's queen. And that queen just gave you really good reason to believe that what she's asking you to do is just.
So why was it even in the movie?
It was in the movie to never mind.
Also, why didn't the rock dudes break the bridge from the start?
The point was that these people would resolve things so that nature would be... I've explained this, haven't I? Like, at this point, we've already, as officers, taken this man down, pepper sprayed him in the face, and now it's police brutality, so I'm going to try to ease up.
You're telling me this bridge was the reason that the forest was all whack, and the things in the forest big enough to fix it just didn't? For 34 years, they straight up didn't. It's your own fault at that point. What is wrong with you? Okay, so the bridge breaks and a massive flood heads towards Arendelle. This entire thing that we were
Which looks visually fantastic, by the way.
warned about from the start of the movie. We were warned that if this bridge breaks, it'll destroy Arendelle. Arendelle will be gone. But when the flood comes towards Arendelle, Elsa is unfrozen. She gets to town instantly, like she teleports, and she saves the town.
So she's on her magic horse again, and she was in an underground river glacier of ice, and also she could be helped by the magic spirits in any way they want to help. I mean, we see that at the end, like with their little instant messages via wind paper airplanes. So nothing about her being there is, outside of reason. Thematically, it makes sense if you understood this movie.
With no struggle, zero struggle. She shows up, breathes underwater with some ice powers, and everything is saved in less than 2 minutes. It was disgustingly anticlimactic.
Again, it's one of the most visually stunning parts of the movie with a lot of emotional buildup, and just because it ends happily doesn't make it anticlimactic. This is the same guy that said, why are you just sad for the sake of being sad? But then he wanted the sad ending to happen. You don't have very many people saying Frozen 2 is just absolute garbage like this guy. Usually once you get that far removed from common popular opinion, you have to do some mental gymnastics to get there. You have to have some extreme bias to get there. There's plenty of things I don't like that are very popular, but I'll never say that those things are bad. I will just say I don't like them. People who are very insecure in their own opinions will just say those things are bad and find really weird ways to justify why that's the case. And that's what you're watching in this video. So this is just, some basic human psychology. People who are insecure in their own opinions will say that things they don't like are objectively bad, instead of just being able to say, I don't like that thing, These are my reasons as to why, but I understand why other people like it, and I understand that it is a good thing, generally speaking. So a good example of this is if you ever see me talk about Billie Eilish, I will break down why I think structurally her music is not complicated and not appealing, and why I believe objectively it's not very artistic as far as integrity for artistic intelligence. But I understand the appeal. I have very few issues with Billie Eilish herself, and I can understand why people like it, and I know that it's quote-unquote good music. I just don't think it has very much artistic depth. But my reaction isn't to say Billie Eilish is terrible, because I'm not insecure in my own opinions like Captain Underpants Boy here is.
It just begs the question, why did we even care in the first place? Why was there any sense of tension? Like, we should have cared that this was going to be a big struggle.
So this argument essentially says any movie where the heroes defeat the threat, we shouldn't have cared. That's literally what this argument means. Which is every Disney movie ever.
But it wasn't! It literally wasn't! You had this entire sequence of Elsa finding out where her powers come from, a moment that is supposed to be like a wow factor, and like, whoa, crazy, that's where they come from? Oh man, that's insane! And they just simply come from an empty cave? Somehow?
Her powers don't come from there. That's not where her powers came from. This guy misunderstands so much.
There was zero answer inside. Fire and water and stuff too were inside.
Again, the cave is not the answer. The cave was where the memories were stored, frozen in ice, because water has memories, which is a goofy little theme throughout the movie, but important to know. So it was actually the memories to help unlock the past of everyone.
Why didn't she get those powers? Or anyone? Also, where in the living reindeer did Kristoff go for the entire movie?
He went through the forest with the other indigenous people because they invited him along. Lost in the woods, looking for Anna because Anna had left without him, and then he finds her.
Everyone noticed this. He's in the start of the movie wanting to propose to
Yeah, everybody noticed it because it was part of the plot.
Anna, then he disappears because
He goes looking for her, and then he's part of a plot line that it wouldn't really bring much more except for some comic relief and runtime if you showed what he was doing looking for her, and you got a couple glimpses of that anyway, so there's not really a reason to add more, is there?
because the movie has no writing for him, no other purpose. He's just gone. This movie angers me, man. It angers me for no reason.
But if he has a passion for movies, he actually gave himself a good argument for that. I'll give him that. He's a Disney shill and he feels betrayed, so I understand the anger. But I think it comes more from not understanding things beyond your brain.
I find it whimsical and easy to look past the plot holes. The plot still makes sense normally, yet this thing hurts.
It hurts your brain because you didn't understand the plot.
No aspect about the story actually makes sense.
To you, it does not. You've made that very clear.
It's so unbelievably contradicting and confusing
It's not.
for no reason.
No reason, because it's not.
It's so boring, so dark. For why?
For the purposes I've outlined many times.
I can't even like this movie as a funny watch or like even so bad it's good. I find it so insane.
I mean, it'd be hard to watch it as a so bad it's good because it's a pretty good movie. So I could empathize with that. This would not be a good movie to watch for a train wreck factor because it's not there.
Annoying and frustrating that it makes me just want to shake the writers and be like, dude, are you okay? Everything.
And the writer would be like, yeah, I'm fine. Maybe you should have read more than Captain Underpants as a child.
Everything about this became so convoluted for no reason. They had such a good chance to flesh everything out and make things even more wondrous and magical.
Which they literally did. Like, you went from the stale, icy Arendelle world of part 1 to an entire enchanted forest. And everything was mystic and magical and whimsical and crazy. Like, what?
And pretty and everything.
And it was way prettier than the first. What?
But instead, they make the entire world of Frozen a drab, lifeless, no-struggle issue.
So now he's saying, he's reversing. At first he said the best thing about this movie is visually it's gorgeous, and now he's saying it's drab and ugly. This man just doesn't know anything.
No one really learns anything about themselves. Elsa stays the exact same, except now she has her hair down and rides a horse.
What's funny about this is the hair is actually very significant to Elsa's character. In the first Frozen, she's got it like up at a little bun thing. Then when she feels like she's been liberated, she has it down in that braid. And in this movie, when she finds who she is, it goes from the braid to fully loose. So ironically, this man accidentally mentioned a key visual cue of the Frozen movies through Elsa's development. And Elsa actually was very well developed as a character. She was, afraid of her own shadow through the first Frozen. And the second Frozen, no longer afraid, but very curious of who am I and trying to figure that out. And by the end, she was at peace and felt like she had found herself. She's not supposed to be the Queen of Arendelle. She never wanted to. That should be Anna. And now she's that link between these peoples, and she could live peacefully in the nature that granted her these powers, where her mother is from. I mean, her story arc was actually extremely well done.
Okay, good for you, I guess. There's seriously zero reason for this movie to even exist.
I mean, there's zero reason for really any sequel to exist if the first film has an open and closed storyline, which Frozen did. So, I mean, I don't know what that argument's supposed to mean from the guy who just said he loves sequels.
A third movie could come out with a completely unrelated story for all I care, because this story itself has no effect on anything at all.
I mean, it had a huge impact if you understood it.
And if they do make a Frozen 3, I guarantee that anything from this movie will not have any effect on the characters in the future.
I mean, it will, but again, that would be if you understood what happened.
Except for Horse and Salamander being an animal in the movie. That's about it. This movie can literally be frozen in time, get it? And be erased from canon. And that'll be so fine, it's crazy. Poopy doopy Frozen 2, more like Frozen Poo. You're just a frozen doo-doo, dude.
This guy understands nothing. Until next time, I scheme, you scheme, we all scheme for ice cream. Goodbye.